Alright, well, Maru just kind of cruising on through. It's, to be fair, this is what I kind of expect, but at the same time, it's always like, if I expect it too much, it might not actually happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. Like. Yeah, it's whenever you're betting for the favorite, you're like, I mean, this should have, but will it? There's always that in the back of your head. You're like, oh, maybe it doesn't happen. But yeah, he has left now the other 3 Terrans to fight over one more spot to advance. Gumiho, of course, waiting in that losers finals, in that final decider match on who will advance forward. And I think a lot of people would probably put their money on Cure here to advance to that. I think if you're just looking at, the stats and probably who's favored statistically, you'd put, Maru and then maybe Cure, Cure Gumiho. That might be a bit close in contention because, they have played against each other and Gumiho won in that GSL, but it was very, very close. So, but I definitely think a lot of people would put money at the bottom. And I think that's just because, hey, he had that long break due to injuries. He hasn't really been back to his top form since then. And we see glimpses of it, though. Like that game, too, we see a glimpse where Gumiho, it feels like he has an advantage and he's pushing into the natural or into that ramp between the natural and the third. And then Bunny just comes through and crushes the fight. And that game then just stomps the game from there on out.
Yeah. No proxy barracks, this map, this game so far. Let's calm down. I guess once your life is on the line, it becomes a bit more difficult to go for those proxies, right? Well, perhaps it's something to do as well with, like, just both of them really respecting one another. And even if you respect someone like Maru, right? They obviously respect him, but you would go proxy 2 racks because you're kind of looking for that advantage. Maybe between these two, mentally, step before usually plays quite a big role between, well, actually for both these players, both can be a bit emotional. Q doesn't always seem it, but I feel like there's a bunch of brimming emotions in that man as well. For sure.
Yeah.
But yeah. Where was I going with this? Right, yeah, the proxy 2 Rex. The proxy 2 Rexes, right? You might not go for it as much. You might just be like, you know what, let's just play it the comfortable way. Let's not take any unnecessary risks at the early part that could just win or lose the game straight up. Let's just play the casual game, play it safe, and just approach myself in a... I'm just going to slowly be able to win this match here.
Yeah, I think both players are going to be pretty confident in a macro game, and you just don't want to risk anything here when your life's on the line. Against Maru, maybe you throw out a 2 racks more aggressive build because you want to get that advantage, but here you just play with it. You play with what you got. Raven production is already started up here for Bunny, or for Cure, sorry. Bunny is going to be the one getting a little bit aggressive. I believe already has a medevac out with the tank in production. So it's been that push that we've been seeing all day. From different players with the tank, with the Cyclone, a few additional units. You just get this across the map. It's a very, very early attack. You can try and catch your opponent out. Of course, this will get across the map just a little right around the time when Cure's own tank will be popping out. So the positioning of Cure's tank will really decide a lot on how successful this is and where Bunny decides to commit in.
Alright, looking for an angle here as he is approaching that main base. There we go. The siege tank in an okay spot right now. It's going to be difficult to deal with. I'm not convinced it... Oh, wait. And it targets...
Oh, no! What? Cure! Yeah, I mean, Raven goes down, tank goes down on the high ground. You might be able to clean up the tank on the low ground, but you take so many losses. That final shot got so much damage. Yeah, this has actually been... I don't know, actually. We're going to start to see SCVs go down. I mean, Bunny just walking this down into the natural. Says, I don't have enough DPS to focus down the add-ons, but hey, I can find a little bit of extra damage here. And look at the supplies already. This is just... You should never get this much damage done.
Yeah, this is like maybe get some interruption on the production, right? Because of the siege opposition, have them forcibly lift up and stuff like that. But Kyo not wanting any type of such a thing and tries to minimize his losses here entirely, and well, the situation got a lot worse because of it.
Yeah, I mean, the Raven being caught out by the Cyclone and then the tank sieging up so close to the bio. Just a lot of little things there that meant that those units were picked off so easily. And now look at this interference matrix onto the tank. Another tank is sieging on up as the Marines go forward. And I think this might just be game. The tank falls. There's one more tank coming through here for Cure, but he doesn't have an auto turret. And that's it. Game 1. GG. Bunny is up 1-0.
Wow. See spawns in the top left side from Dragon Phoenix Gamers. The blue Terran with a lovely star accompanying him. It is. I should know this. This is gonna take a little. Yeah.
So it's different every time.
Well, I feel like he gives us more time for the first one.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, bottom right-hand corner, he's up 1-0. Made it work there with the early tank push. It's Bunny.
You see?
You're right.
We got the algorithm down now. Took me a while to catch on, but well, to be fair, I don't know. I just get too excited, right, when the game starts, and it's like, here we go, yeah. Press those buttons. Let's see the SCVs being produced.
Yeah, so exciting.
There's no proxies again, by the way. That's the big deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's Moondance. This is not a map where I think you expect proxies. It's a map that's pretty, it's a standard map. You got a pocket expansion at the back. You want to play it safe. You have pretty much a free third base.
I've seen some disgusting proxies, however, from like that third base as well. Sometimes if you hide it in there, oh, it's terrible for if you don't see it in time.
Yeah, that can be really brutal. But I don't think either of these players are really going to go for it. Cure looks like there's just going to be an SCV scout. Sees the fact that it's a Reaper. Nothing out of the ordinary here. Factories for both players, exact same timings. Now, what will be interesting in seeing what builds these players do end up going for, because obviously Bunny goes for that aggressive tank push, ends up being able to win the game with it. Do you repeat that back? It's a build that you can run over again, because even if your opponent defends it, you're not putting yourself especially far behind. The one part that you're losing out on is that Raven production. You're not going to have your Raven out as quickly because you go for the medevac first. But that's really the only spot that you lose out. And of course, if you get cleaned up completely without finding any damage, then it does hurt just a little bit.
Yeah. Cool. Might be able to get some damage here going. There we go. Delay on the factory. Gets an SCV.
Yeah.
Slightly
worthwhile.
Yeah. He gets out of there too, so no harm done. Not to mention just having a bit of a scout as well, right?
Yeah, we're getting the tech lab immediately onto this factory here for Bunny. I'm interested in if this is just going to be, a really fast Cyclone. Neither player really going for a starport just yet. We're getting the reactor onto the barracks for Bunny. He's produced these two Reapers. They're going to poke around. They might be able to dive into the main at a later point, but their purpose is not going to be for fighting. It's going to be for scouting and for a little bit of harassment, as Cure is also going across the map with his units, which is Reaper and 2 Aliens. Or 2 Aliens and Reaper. Just no. Reaper, 2
One
Aliens.
of those two.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you just kept going, I wouldn't have noticed.
Yeah. This happens. Ooh, second SCV. Sheesh. Third SCV goes down. Cure not quite able to save that one with his Hellions. Bunny finds a little bit of damage. Cyclones are now out. Starport's finishing up. Second command centers as well. And it's a pretty standard game. The only differences that we're seeing right now are the unit composition. Just that faster tech lab for Bunny, but overall, I don't think that's going to make too much of a difference, aside from the fact that Cure should have an additional tank, because he's producing one right now.
Yeah, another Cyclone coming out of Bunny. I'm wondering if he's going to send those two in the medevac here. Occasionally happens. It's an interesting drop, right? Because if you do fly across some other drop, you could just drop those Cyclones and try to target it down. Unless if it's filled with Marines, then it's a little bit nasty. But if there's a siege tank in there, that could be a trouble brewing. Or a Raven, right? Trying to go for harassments or anything like that.
We are
flying too.
Nice shots.
2 Hellions go down. All right. Bunny moving forwards. He wants this. Yeah, he wants that badly.
Yeah, try to chase down the tank here. And he knows, hey, listen, I have 2 Cyclones focusing down. The medevac is going to get it. Backs up, loses, 2-3 Marines, and that's about it. Pretty worthwhile there for Bunny. Actually loses a good chunk of those Marines in the trade. But you manage to get off the Hellions. You also kill the medevac, and now dropping into the main base is very hard to try and push these Cyclones, just because the Viking can also get focused down. Boost is going to come through, lifts him out, and then can drop him back down, just so that Viking cannot chase down Bunny's units. I like how Bunny is handling this early game, but again, you have to keep in mind the fact that Cure kind of has the lead in these very important tech units. You know, he's already has Vikings out 2 at a time, already has tanks out. Ooh, is up a tank. And so that does mean it's going to be hard for Bunny to really push into his opponent anytime soon. Ooh, I love that move with Reaper. Doesn't end up actually hitting the Cyclone with the KD8 charge, so it's not going to find the kills on any of those low health units.
Yeah, that was a nice move. Just anticipating his boost is going to run out. He's going to drop those units. We might be able to bounce him backwards here. Really cool stuff. It was small, but you caught it there. That was nice.
Yeah, so even in this game. 38 workers apiece. It's, I mean, 2 more army supply for Cure. Evened out there as a Marine goes down. Now only 1 more army supply for Cure. And this game is in a position where now Cure pushing forward. He's going to try and find a little bit of damage. He knows that, listen, I have the Viking advantage. I have the tank advantage, especially because of those 2 Cyclones. Actually, oh, getting the starport here would be big. If you force the lift off onto the starport, of course, makes it a lot harder for Bunny with this hold. Yeah, so need to repair it as all 3 tanks are now brought forward. Scans need to be popped.
Ooh. Couple of SCVs poked down. Gotta keep their heads down here to avoid the artillery. It's a rough position to be in. And I think there's a drop or something coming across the map as well there for Bunny. Might be well, it could be a good play here. Most of everything for Cure is just moving across the map.
Yeah, 6 Marines here in the main. It's going to be annoying for Cure to deal with. He has to pull away the SCVs, has to, you know, reroute units. As look at this, the Vikings now taking the fight. 4 of them out for Bunny. Has just managed to get enough to be able to make this a little bit more convincing for his hold. And the anti-armor missile is good, but actually Cure just brings over more Vikings. He's going to be able to start to completely clean this up. The Raven takes a volley. Is going to make the trade a bit more even, but the starport finally has to be lifted off. Tank is going to go down. Marines get surrounded, but they find 12 SCVs in total behind all of this.
Yeah.
And Bunny manages... I mean, he manages to even up some of these trades, but still, he's the one being contained. And again, Cure on Moondance, same thing happened against Maru, where he finds this incredibly strong contain. This time, though, unlike Maru, Bunny traded out those Vikings. He doesn't have them for when Cure eventually tries to push in. That means that Cure is just going to, I mean, reposition his units. I don't know if he's going to look to try and dive in. You know, might just play this more cautiously, especially after that game against Maru, where he did that and ended up losing.
Yeah, definitely just playing it ever so more carefully, right? It feels like the setup defensively here for Bunny is quite a bit less substantial than we saw for Maru. And, well, Cure still haven't quite made the push. Now he will start making it. So,
oh, SCVs have to be pulled. The tank is focused down. The splash damage onto the SCVs. The Viking is trying its best to knock down the tanks, and it does so. Another tank in the back can anchor this, but 23 SCVs fall for Bunny. He's down to 17, which is just not enough. Now the Vikings come forward. And yeah, this is just, I mean, Bunny, he found return damage, but Cure has a 3rd CC that he's building. You know, Cure's at 46 workers. He's been able to rebuild. Pushing in again. This might be a little bit aggressive here, but trading out units is always worthwhile when you are the one who is ahead in supply. Oh, the lift off on that Viking, almost enough. And it looks like this tank should go down. Should be chased. And I mean, Cure loses a lot of army. Yeah. I don't know if Bunny can swing it across the map to try and find any return damage.
He only has like 22 army supply, right? If it was maybe around 30 something, 40, I could see a counterattack stopping that 3rd base from being on location. But even if you just deny the 3rd base, right, it's still a bad position for Bunny. It would still be a disadvantaged position here. Yeah, I'm trying to come up with what the best play would be, and Bunny seemingly choosing to just kind of go for it. And yeah, to be fair, what else is there, right? Who knows? Who knows? Maybe Cure overcommits to that 3rd base defense and loses a couple too many units, and it starts to snowball.
Yeah, this is it. I mean, Bunny, he needs to catch the units out. He might just do that. Interference Matrix is available. Tanks are going to siege up. Now pushing on forward, auto turret as well. This might be good. The tank's the first shot, though. Not on target, but the tank is going to go down. The auto turret finding damage. And Bunny finds a position here to push back the third, and it's a start here to trying to get himself back into this game. He's ahead. I mean, 10 army supply, it's not that much in the grand scheme of things, but it's enough that he can start to try and make this work. Has another auto turret available for that Raven, but the Viking count, the Viking health total is just so low. And maybe try and push this high ground. There's a tank on the high ground for here. Vision, is it there? Yes, it is. Tanks firing off. It looks like both are going to stay alive. And man, how many times has Bunny done this, Kozan? It feels like every game he's behind, and he's just finding incredible trades to keep himself in it.
Yeah, it's I don't know, man, if this is going to work out. There is an attack still. Oh, you're bleeding more units. Yeah, this is starting to get a bit wild. It's 5 tanks now versus just the 1. It's a Liberator, a Raven, and as well as the Viking advantage here for Bunny. It's
4 tanks.
It's
4 tanks, Kozan. This is insane.
Yeah,
I mean, it was game 1 versus Gumiho.
It's already like it's halfway across the map. It's gonna be there soon.
Oh my! I mean, Bunny trying to make this work. Reminiscent of that game 1 versus Gumiho, where he found the incredible trades to try and make it close. But there's a clump of bio here on one side of this army. Here, he's repositioning the third. I just don't think he's going to fight the army. I think he's just going to wait. He's going to try and build up more. He's not going to take any engagement until he knows he has enough. But right now, Bunny is just focusing on producing army. More and more Vikings streaming across the map. More and more tanks. It's 6 tanks here. And suddenly this becomes, you know, a situation where it's a lot harder for Cure to break out of this because the tank count is so high. The Viking count especially. 8 Vikings. And you have that Raven still in backup for Bunny.
Yeah. Yeah, all of this though, while Cure is just mining more. Oh, there he goes. Okay, this is a bit too quick. This is a bit too quick. He doesn't quite have the units from the top.
No, he doesn't.
Participating, and GG is called. Bunny, what a lad! It takes it 2-2. Oh, wow.